When searching on the PS5 for new games, I found one called Immortals Fenyx Rising. I thought it looked really cool and interesting, but then when I googled it and saw that it was made by Ubisoft, I immediately lost interest. I'm SaintXElijah. This is SaintXGaming, my scripted video show, and I hope you guys like it. This episode is all about the Ubisoft method and why I dislike Ubisoft. I hope you guys enjoy it. Let me know, do you like Ubisoft? Do you dislike Ubisoft? I know there's a lot of fans on both sides, fans of hating too. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I spent a lot of time on this script. Sorry if I stuttered a little bit. I do that sometimes. And I hope you guys enjoy the video. Let's hop right in. Before we start the video, I want to express that I will not be talking about the way Ubisoft treats its employees or anything like that. I think other people can do those topics way better than I ever could, and I think those topics would need their own dedicated videos, not just be another example of why I dislike Ubisoft. Also in this video, I am pretty harsh against Ubisoft, and I don't want anyone to get upset really badly, so just know these are my views and my opinion, and it's okay to disagree with them. I'd love to hear your arguments on some of the topics I mentioned in the comments below. Maybe you can even change my mind about some of my dislike for Ubisoft. With that being said, let's get started. Ubisoft is one of the biggest publishers making games right now. Ubisoft makes platformers, stealth games, first-person shooters, highly competitive games, open-world games, live services. Pretty much any genre that sells well, Ubisoft makes. Once upon a time, I even thought if anyone could make a console and compete with the PlayStation and an Xbox, it could be Ubisoft, because they make so many mainstream games in so many different genres. As I started playing more and more Ubisoft games, however, I started to realize the method of how Ubisoft makes a game. I'm not sure if many other people have noticed or acknowledged how Ubisoft publishes such popular games, but from the start I realized that Ubisoft takes a well-known game or franchise that is either selling well or has an audience who wants more of it and simplifies it for a more mainstream experience. Examples of games Ubisoft has copied and simplified in the past are GTA with Watch Dogs, Destiny with The Division, Fallout 3 with Far Cry 3, and Metal Gear Solid 5 with Ghost Recon, plus Forza with The Crew. The list goes on and on. I call this process of Ubisoft copying and simplifying a game the Ubisoft method. My dislike for Ubisoft isn't just their need to reach a mainstream audience, however, as if a game is good, I don't really care how popular it is. The bigger problem with the Ubisoft method is that it takes all forms of artistry out of the games in order to be as popular as possible. It's like a painting of the beach. It's attractive to everyone, completely inoffensive, but I wouldn't call it art. Ubisoft takes all the artistic measures out of video games, even though I see video games as a combination of every other art form. Video, sound, imagery, everything. Honestly, it's impressive how Ubisoft can strip a game down so much that it just looks so cookie cutter. A great example of Ubisoft removing all art from a game for me would be the Far Cry series. I'm talking Far Cry 4 and on because I don't really know much about the first two Far Cry games, and I feel those games were very much made under a different Ubisoft than the one we know today, where maybe they thrived to be a big publisher, but they hadn't mastered it yet. Far Cry 3 was a great game that brought the concept of Fallout but simplified it to take place on a much smaller map. Ubisoft filled the map with many different side quests and activities, improved the controls, and made the game feel more welcoming, really transforming the open world genre into what we know it as today. Far Cry 3 is an extremely important and influential game that will be remembered forever for how it made an open world feel so fun. Then Far Cry 4 came out, and it was almost the same exact game. Then Far Cry Primal came out, and it was the same game. Then Far Cry 5, then Far Cry New Dawn, exactly the same as Far Cry 3, completely forgettable. Once Ubisoft finds that mainstream play loop for their games, they don't change anything, because that would make the game attract a lesser audience. Any artistic appeal could have a negative effect on the audience, so all innovation and artistry is looked down upon on the road to the masses. Assassin's Creed 1 was a flawed game, but with the second perfecting that gameplay cycle, Ubisoft just made the same Assassin's Creed play loop over and over, until finally people had enough, and then Ubisoft took Assassin's Creed and remodeled it again to reach the mainstream audience. Any opportunity Ubisoft can get to make a game go mainstream, they will take advantage of. Once they saw the downfall of Call of Duty slowly doing worse and worse every year, they saw that fan base repeating their wants for boots on the ground, realistic modern gameplay. Not only did they notice this, but also they saw the success of Overwatch, and they saw a possible fan base they could take advantage of. Thus, Rainbow Six Siege came, completely changed from the old model of Rainbow Six and reinvented for an audience that wanted multiplayer, class-based, boots-on-the-ground gameplay. Ubisoft took the idea of Forza, an open-world racing game, to the next level by allowing you to drive in a smaller-scale depiction of the United States. Sure, Ubisoft didn't have the control or feel right, but that didn't matter. Finally, you could play a Forza-type game on a PlayStation console with tons of cars and a huge map. Any racing fan had to give the crew a try. Maybe I'm more harsh on Ubisoft than they deserve. Maybe I'm wrong about the Ubisoft method. Maybe some of these things I'm just looking too deep into. But one thing is for sure in my eyes. Ubisoft doesn't make art. Ubisoft makes cookie-cutter video games that can reach the widest audience, no matter what. Thank you guys for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if you disagree with any of the statements I made about Ubisoft. Remember to subscribe to the channel for more PlayStation content and critique, as well as follow me on twitch.tv/SaintXElijah, YT. And check me out on Twitter and Discord as well. Links in the description. Until next time, thank you for watching, and goodbye.